to Jelly Trumpet!
Well, Mr. B, are we ready for another episode of Jelly Trumpet?
Ready, Mr. Jim.
It's good to be back in St Albans after that last episode. I'm looking forward to talking all things creative. Expanding people's imagination is very fulfilling, you know.
Yes, it is.
We don't want the podcast running out of control.
No, we don't want that.
Shall we get started? The button.
Have you seen my new keyboard? It's Japanese.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. And what have you done to the coffee machine?
Tinkering. Just tinkering, Mr. Jim.
Why have you put tank tracks on our coffee machine?
C-Mac.
C-Mac? What?
It's called C-Mac now. Could come in handy. I've adapted it.
You've adapted a coffee machine to do what precisely?
Science and...
Coffee. If only Nigel knew another tune.
It's not easy to teach a squirrel the size of a St. Bernard new tunes, you know. Especially when his instrument of choice is the bongos.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
Arrêtez, ça, Nigel.
We'll have to take her back, you know.
Yes, we'll have to take her back. I'll miss her. She's the only one that Nigel listens to.
Right. After the show, steer a course for medieval France, 1150 AD. Queen Eleanor can go back to ruling the Aquitaine.
Righto.
And Mr. B, did you furnish Her Majesty with a fanfare?
No, it's an app on our iPad.
Oh, she's going to miss it.
The iPad?
Nigel.
The show is ready.
Hurrah!
Welcome to Jelly Trumpet, the world's only comedy podcast about creativity. Jelly Trumpet makes you more creative with tips, tricks and ideas for expanding your imagination. Especially good for business people wanting to be creative online. In this episode, a checklist for being more creative called the 9 Trumpets of Creativity. Our 4th trumpet is Magnify, Minify. Challenge at home, a creative exercise for you to try at home. And Challenge Jim, where Mr. B challenges Jim with an exercise in creativity. Plus, a brand new micro sitcom called The Startup, with our hero Mary, the entrepreneur, starring in an episode titled The Entrepreneur's New Niche, Part 1, Part 2 later. And our very special guest will take part in Interview Countdown, 12 questions in 12 minutes. 9 Trumpets of Creativity. Our 4th trumpet is Magnify, Minify.
This season on Jelly Trumpet, we're talking about the 9 Trumpets of Creativity. It's a list of 9 different tools that can help you be more creative. Last episode, we talked about the 3rd trumpet, Modify. This episode, Trumpet 4, Magnify, Minify. There's a PDF of all 9 Trumpets of Creativity, which you can download from the Jelly Trumpet website. We've adapted this list of creative tools from Osborne's checklist, also known as Scamper. Why have we adapted the list? Because we like changing things to make them better. If you've listened to Season 1, you'll remember we talked a lot about keeping a journal of what helps you to be creative. And we called the journal Your Medicine. The idea is that you build up your own tool chest of ideas, the journal becoming your creative coach. So here we go with number 4 in our 9 Trumpets of Creativity. Magnify, Minify. Make things bigger, make things smaller. What could be simpler? In this episode, we descend into, well, you'll see, and certain things get bigger and certain things go smaller. The 9 Trumpets is a list to use for any idea. And you can add your own tools. It's a checklist to help your creative thinking, principally about asking the right questions. So take your idea. Is it a character? Is it a product? Whatever. How big can you make it? How does that change it? What consequences would there be? If you're an actor, how big can you make your character? Gestures, ways of speaking, of moving. If you're a digital marketing person, how big can you make your idea? Can it take on Facebook, Instagram? The same goes for minification, for ideas, writing characters, pictures. The takeaway. Make your creative ideas as big as possible, as small as possible. What does that suggest? If the answer is not much, then move on to the other Trumpets of Creativity, but give it some time before dismissing. Mr. B, What's that outside the window? You've done it again, haven't you? Landed the podcast somewhere alien. You and your Japanese keyboard.
Isn't it pretty?
Not now, Nigel. Oh my God.
What?
I believe I know where you've landed us. That red sky, the cityscape, that remote-controlled bear. It's Danganronpa, a Japanese game loved by my anime-loving daughter.
This'll be fun then. I love computer games.
Monsieur Jim, tu es le motom. You are the word man. Write us out of this place.
Motom? That's you, all right. The word man. Yeah, why don't you write us out of this Japanese game and into a nice snug pub in St Albans? I fancy the old fighting cocks in the park.
Well, motom?
You don't understand. I need the clouds to part. A beam of light hits and merges with my aura and...
The inspiration. Ha! Merde.
Here's an idea. Why don't you listen to your podcast to pick up some ideas, Make you more creative?
Well, why are you riding Nigel, Your Majesty?
Don't change the subject.
He is comfortable and I am the queen.
Oh, fair point. It's a first draft,
Well, let us know when you got to the second draft. I'll buy you a cake.
What is that thing? It looks like an horse, a bear. Only it doesn't look real. Half black, half white with a gross ventre.
Oh, God, that's Monokuma.
He's not dangerous, though.
Oh, no, he's not dangerous.
He's blown up that flower shop.
Mr. B, the button.
Which one?
Any button. Get us out of here, quick.
Very well.
Merde.
Yes, mud. What's going on?
I think it's a starter motor. I'll have to go outside. While I'm doing that, can you do challenge at home? Keep the podcast ticking over?
Wait.
Challenge at home.
Listening is a very real skill. How often do you listen? Sit in a straight-back chair, close your eyes and relax for 2 to 3 minutes. Without moving, listen. What do you hear? How many different sounds? What does each sound suggest? If you are a creative writer, write a scene. Now listen to the setting. What sounds would be in this place? Can you use them for creating atmosphere? If you're in marketing and you've got feedback, then listen. It may be recorded voice, which is easy. If it's written feedback, say it out loud. Listen to the words you read. Does this suggest something further for your marketing? What is unsaid? Does this suggest some content that promotes your business or clients? The takeaway. We don't take time often enough to listen around us. Practice and you'll be surprised how active listening can aid your striving for greater creativity. Mr. B, are you all right?
All good. However, the starter motor isn't.
How do you know that?
Because it's not there.
Nigel, ici.
Where's it gone?
Well, that's the problem, Jim. That's the problem when you do a show that's a first draft.
We'll have to find it.
How do you suggest? Put an ad on Facebook?
Can't have just dropped off.
Yes, it can.
Why do you say that?
Because it has.
Well, this is getting out of hand. It's like someone else is writing Jelly Trumpet.
Oh, le moton, mon cul.
Nothing for it. I bet one of those characters in the game has swiped it. We'll have to track it down.
Yes, we'll also have to be careful.
Why? Animations can't harm.
You were saying, Motom?
Well...
Come now. I have trained Nigel to be a sniffer squirrel.
What?
Nigel will sniff out the motor. We come back. We leave. Facile.
Well...
How difficult can it be? Now, what does a motor smell of?
Oh, well, that's easy. It smells of motor. A bit of oil, some stardust, and a hint of cherry jam.
Bon, Nigel, cher.
I'll be with you in a minute. Don't look at me like that. We still have a show to do, even if we are trapped in a Japanese computer game from 2010. The show must go on. Now I think all I have to do is click on the play button.
The Startup, a micro sitcom. Meet Mary, the entrepreneur, going about creating an online business. The scene, Mary's home office, the spare bedroom. In this episode, Mary the entrepreneur chats with her best friend Bev over Zoom about a new business idea.
Beverly is connecting to sound. Hi, Bev? Bev, can you hear me? Bev, I can't see you. Bev, switch the video on. That button. Looks like a lozenge with a funnel on it.
You mean the camera icon?
That's right, a camera. Wait, what's that?
It's my breakfast Prosecco.
And pancakes.
They are vegan.
I've got something to show you.
What's that you're holding up? Is this another on-the-go cake mix for your bodybuilder's cake brand?
Murder cake for the bodybuilder who likes cake, packed with protein you can murder.
Yes?
No. Look closely.
Is that a miniature makeup kit?
Yes, it's my new business.
Is it makeup for a particular niche?
Yes, babies.
Babies?
Yes, it's called the Baby Maker.
Wait, what?
Baby Maker, combining baby and makeup.
Wouldn't that be baby makeup?
Oh, Baby Maker is a more active term. More in your face, more niche-defining brand.
Mary, darling, why baby makeup?
Have you seen what babies look like when they exit the womb?
Well, yeah, twice.
Oh!
Yeah, I see your point.
Join us in part 2 for the conclusion of the startup's new niche. If I can't get a kitten, I'd like some bacon.
There you are.
I had to play the startup, the micro sitcom.
Right. Do you know who those animated characters are?
Shh! Nigel!
I believe they're called the Warriors of Hope.
They look sweet.
Oh, wee sweet girls.
What are they?
Oh, they're murderers.
Right. We'll avoid them. If only you could write us an armoured car.
Question, Mr. B.
Yes.
Why was the starter motor on the outside of the pod car?
Well, I can explain. It was an...
Experiment?
Science and maths.
Maths is beautiful.
Maths is beautiful.
Weirdo.
Cue Jim in 30 seconds.
Is that the coffee machine?
CMAC, yes.
Have you built in a timer?
Better than that, I've programmed CMAC with a podcast running order. See the display? CMAC is queuing up creative rituals, followed by the coming up insert.
I haven't got the Creative Rituals book with me.
No problem.
Well, I never.
One of CMAC's features is a built-in library.
Creative Rituals.
In Season 2, we're highlighting a book called Daily Rituals by Mason Curry. It's full of short essays about the rituals creative people have used in their lives. Today, from 7 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night, I worked without stirring except to take some food a step or two away. So wrote Vincent van Gogh to his brother in 1888. Well, that's extreme, but the work he produced? Well, genius. So, do you work that hard? Are the hours important? Do you just throw yourself in and work long hours? For me, this is far too long. I work in hour bursts, 3 to 4 in a row. I try very hard not to get distracted by social media, and that works if the project means something to me. Takeaway, how long do you work for, and is it productive? Try extending your hours bit by bit. Do you get more productive, or does it tire you of creativity?
Coming up, interview countdown. Challenge Jim. Mr. B will issue Jim a challenge. And list of the week. Sponsored by Conversion Detectives, the really creative digital marketing agency. Search Conversion Detectives. I'm a trained artist, you know, Sharon.
What's that noise?
What are those pink puddles?
Pistachios.
Don't be silly. Pistachios are green and aren't liquid. Well, they could be with some science.
Blood. The Danganronpa game uses pink to represent the red of blood.
Manger, Nigel.
Why are you feeding Nigel pistachios?
He didn't like the bagels. They were wretched bagels anyway.
We must find the starter motor, chaps. Now I've got pink all over my lab coat.
Lucky you. Why are you feeding him anyway?
He has to keep his strength up if he is to, quest.
This stain will never come out.
Well, use some science then.
We must continue our search for the starter motor, return to the podcast, and exit.
Quite right. Wait. Bagels. Reminds me of something.
Ma chère, en avant, Nigel.
Bagels. No, I can't remember.
And voila, the stain is gone.
How did you do that?
Simple, I rubbed it with a stale bagel.
Nigel is pointing that way.
Oh, he's a pointer squirrel, is he? Why doesn't Nigel talk anymore?
I've given him a vow of silence.
I see.
I think there's something about bagels, you know. Keeps ringing a bell. Well, we need to have some caution in this place.
It's very colourful. I think it's like walking through a pop-up painting.
Oh, yeah. Very pretty. So I can't remember the thing about bagels. But what I do remember is characters have to have an ultimate talent to survive in this game. We'll all need an ultimate talent. Mr. B, what is your ultimate talent?
Hindsight.
That's not much good.
I know that now. Didn't we use this gag before, Mr. Writer?
It's called recycling. Your Majesty, what is your ultimate talent?
Queen.
Fair enough. I shall be the ultimate word man, Le Mot Homme.
Obtaining ultimate gizmo status.
Okay, I'll be the ultimate scientist.
Okay, ultimate writer, Your Majesty.
Still.
Sorry?
Still queen.
I think another talent would suit you better, Jim.
I can't do anything else.
How about cooking? You like cooking?
All right, I'm the ultimate cook.
Nigel, arrêtez!
Why does he run off like that?
Oh no!
Nigel, pistachios!
What?
Look!
Time for challenge. Jim!
Challenge Jim!
It's Challenge Jim time. This episode, you have 1 minute and 8 seconds to come up with a story idea for a computer game. Not Japanese. You must introduce the three main characters, name them, and tell us a short bio. Okay, go.
All right, so I would call this the rubbish pickers or the rubbish pirates, perhaps, etc. Because I don't like rubbish, and it should be picked up. Every time you see some rubbish, pick it up, put it in a bin. And I'd have the three characters. I'd have Sydney, middle-aged Pollock. Sydney Pollock, middle-aged, and he would have a limp, he would have an eye patch, and he would speak in only Italian.
And would they put their rubbish in exploding bins?
Mostly in their pockets.
Big pockets.
You have to
Big
collect
pockets.
that before you get to the big boss. And then second we'd have Dolores. She's American. She's a chat show
Could
host.
be played by Kate Blanchett.
There's a lot to love.
30 seconds.
And she would collect apple cores and orange peels because she's fruity. And then third of all, we'd have Bodmin.
Bodmin Moore.
Bodmin Moore. Yeah, Bobby Moore's grandson.
On bongos.
And bongos, just like Nigel. And he would pick up only crisp packets. And he would put the crisp packets
10
into a
seconds.
big box and he'd send them to Gary Lineker with some leaves.
On FedEx.
FedEx, of course, because he'll get there next day.
3,
and then Gary Lineker
2,
would tweet about
1.
it. So the rubbish pirates, everyone.
Tony's word of the episode.
Tony's word of the episode. Tony's word of the episode.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Thank you, Tony. The definition of which is anyone that disagrees with Facebook.
This really isn't working, Jim.
Tony's word of the episode. Tony's word of the episode.
And now we have We Paint Houses with their song Running From Myself.
So this is what it's like to be alone. This is what it's like. You're back and no one's home. This is what it's like when you talk yourself to sleep. I know what it's like, 'cause the bottle took me there and the bottom's so deep. So I carefully put myself back together again. Lost a few people on the way, but hey, they're not my friends. I've been running from myself for so long, so long. I've been running from myself, too late to carry on, carry on. I've been running from myself just a little too long now. I've been running from myself, too late. I carry on, carry on, carry on, carry on. Know what it's like to reach the end. Know what it's like to get up and start all over again. Know what it's like when there's nowhere
この世界は一体何なのじゃ。
Who is the mystery Japanese girl? Will Nigel find the podcast starter motor? Will Queen Eleanor still be a queen? Will Mr. B commit another experiment? And will Jim manage a draft of Jelly Trumpet that makes sense? Listen to part 2 to find out.
I will, you know. One day.